My gamer tag is Brax. I'm from Garden Grove, California, and I play for LGD International. There are definitely sacrifices going to China. You know, you leave everything you have behind to pursue what you want to do. You're working towards something you really, really want, but you're also leaving behind everything else. I was a little anxious about living in China at first because, like, it's a whole new country, you know. I haven't been outside the States before. I didn't really know what to expect. There was definitely that part, but it was also exciting, you know. It's nice to just get out there and see what's out there. Living in a gamer house is probably comparable to a really long boot camp. You get to live with each person and you get used to their views on the game, and you pretty much become friends all around. Training for 10 hours a day, 7 days a week does get exhausting after a while, but once you get used to it, you can really start to enjoy it. If LGD International faces LGD China in the grand finals, then we're going to win, because we always beat LGD China. We've always actually played really good against them. Winning the International, to me, means a dream come true. You know, all your hard work that you've put towards this pays off and really makes, like, a huge difference in your life. There's a lot of people coming to see me, a lot of my friends and family from back home. My grandma, my grandpa, my little brother, and my dad are coming. Mom, you should be here, because I miss you.
Theban Siva, 1437, Toronto, Canada.
Braxton Paulson, Brax, Garden Grove, California.
Sergey Bragin, G, St. Petersburg, Russia.
Rasmus Bert Philipsen, Misery, Copenhagen, Denmark.
Per Anders Pajkat, Stockholm, Sweden.
So they're the 5 members of LGD International. Now, of course, this team was invited here. They've got a lot of experience, and when they first went over to China, as you saw, they were talking about their Brax. They did amazing. Lately, not so well, and I know for a fact that they are not happy with their prelims in the previous days, but it's still a tournament they can win. It's still a game they can win versus MOUZ Sports. But what do you guys think?
Both teams have a sort of equal amount of wins, 4 against 5 wins. But as we were saying earlier, I think LGD International has the more impressive wins, beating IG once and beating Tongfu 2-0. On top of that, they probably have a harder time against the enemies they face off in China than what MOUZ Sports has been playing. Also because MOUZ Sports plays mostly online, whereas LGD INT is constantly thrown into LAN fire against some of the world's most experienced LAN teams. So it's definitely different settings for them to go under. Also, because of the huge amount of LAN play they have together, I think they're the clear-cut favorites going into this match, because MOUZ Sports have only have, with Sunren as their captain, 2 LANs to play, whereas and 1 week of boot camp, whereas LGD International has been boot camping since TI3.
All right, yeah, and as you mentioned,
Wow.
Hopefully that wasn't me, but I think it was, I don't know. Either way, no one move. We're going to MOUZ Sports.
My real name is Dominik Reitmeier. My nickname is Black. The name of my team is MOUZ Sports, and I'm from Frankfurt in Germany. I finished school like last month, and now I'm just a full-time gamer. Like, I'm trying to take a year off everything, so I can just unlock the full potential that I have and just see where it gets me.
I'm Sinren from MOUZ Sports. My real name is Troels Nielsen, and I'm from Denmark. I joined when the qualifiers for TI3 were coming up. They were interested in a roster switch, so Black contacted me. We had been playing in team before, and so I tried it out, and it worked really well, and yeah, ended up hooking up with them.
I think we are like a proven team now, because there's so many invited teams where people say, yeah, they didn't earn the invite, or they don't deserve the invite. We earned our spot. It's actually a pretty big deal. Like in the qualifier, we got dropped down to the loser bracket by DD, which is now Quantic, and then we just had this like 1 hour talk about what went wrong, what we should do, and we just motivated ourselves. But a part of it was this YouTube video. It's called The Greatest Motivation Speech Ever. I know, I just sent that to everyone, and they looked at it and then they watched it. That was pretty much our motivation speech. And then we just smashed through the lower bracket into the grand finals and won that 3-1. And ever since then, we just had this motivation and this, I don't know, our friendship improved. We got much better individually. I don't know, just everything changed after that speech.
Every time we had our backs against the wall, everyone just performed so much better.
If I win the international this year, the first thing I'll do is like go home and tell them about it, and they would probably freak out, and then we'd just like celebrate together. And with the money, I would probably buy like, you know, a house for my family.
The first thing I would do would be obviously being extremely proud and going a bit crazy, and then trying to, you know, I wouldn't say get back to reality because this is our reality, but it's still something very special and kind of the pinnacle of the year for our game. So
winning international is really unique, and there's only like 5 players in a year that can do it. You can't really prepare anyone for something as big as this, and I don't think you can really prevent from getting nervous. It's like impossible in an event with that magnitude.
Dominik Reitmeier, Black, Frankfurt, Germany.
Adrian Trinks, Vater, Berlin, Germany.
Pascal Lohmeier, Pass, Minden, Germany.
Max Bröcker, Quaikwa, Stuttgart, Germany.
Troels Nielsen, Sinderen, Aalborg, Denmark.
So MOUZ Sports, the German organisation with 4 German players, and of course Sinderen from Denmark, who is filling in the, well, not filling in, but has taken the captain role. And also Black within the team is considered one of the best farmers in terms of carry players, not just farmers. He's not just good at clicking, he's good at also playing the carry in other roles in Europe. So I feel they're a force to be reckoned with, but you guys think they're a little bit too predictable?
A bit too predictable. They're definitely a force to be reckoned with. Don't get me wrong, MOUZ is a super strong team. They won the qualifiers, and I mean, they've really proven their worth over the past 2 months, but they're a bit too predictable, just like you said.
All right, okay. Well, we'll leave it on that. But yeah, of course, LGD International, they came out really strong earlier in the year, had a little hard time. They're going to want to win this game, of course. And also, MOUZ Sports have been doing fantastically well until they met Na'Vi in the D2L, and they got beaten pretty hard. And so far, they might need to change things up to win this match. And this match is, of course, another best of 1 because it's the lower bracket game. So we're going to send it to the hall for the match to start.
LGD Gaming International versus MOUZ Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Banner Royal Hall, home of the Seattle Symphony, as we watch MOUZ Sport on Radiant and LGD Gaming International on the Dire. This is a lower bracket match. I am Luminous Inverse, and of course my partner in crime, as always, is LD Dota.
Hey Lumi, good to be back with you. It's 2 of 4 best of 1s for the day, guys. Loser of every single match is going home. By the time today is done, 4 teams will have been eliminated from the International 3. With that being said, the draft is well underway. We'll get into it. A quick recap. The Chen was first picked by LGD International. The reply from MOUZ Sports, a Prophet and a Puck. LGD in the second stage of the bans. They'll ban out a Visage and Black's anti-mage. We talked about predictability. Well, this has been a go-to, a staple for MOUZ for a long time. It is removed. They'll have to find something else. LGD in. Well, the first pick coming out of this stage for MOUZ was actually Keeper of the Light, then a Gyrocopter for LGD in. The jury is still out. What is Black going to play this game?
We'll have to wait on that one because Black does have a quite wide of a hero pool, Anti-Mage being one of his really, really favorite hero, but picking Anti-Mage against this pushing lineup of LGD Gaming International could be quite dangerous. Now, we had a little bit of chit-chat.
And it's going to be hard, Libby.
Yeah.
Because he's banned.
Well, you know, Black could transcend time and reality sometimes.
Black's a good anti-mage player. I don't know if even he's that good. That's some next.
All right, we'll table that one. But talking to some of the players, LG Gaming International believe that Chen is probably their best hero. Having them first pick up that hero is very, very important. LG Gaming loves to go for these pushes that are comprised with very, very tanky stuff. So you have a tanky dragon in the front line, you have like 2-3 Chen creeps, you have a Gyrocopter that's very hard to engage on, and probably they're not done yet. They're probably going to pick up a Beastmaster or something. So you just have like a series of linemen, because everybody's cheering USA. Can we get some football references here? And the real football, obviously.
I'll work on the American football references. None coming to my head right now, but LGD International, of course, a wide range of nationalities there up against MOUZ Sports. And what are they going to pick? They've already got 2 of their cores. Generally, when we see them run the Chen, they've liked to do it in the past with a Rubik or a Shadow Demon, probably the ideal partners for setting up kills in the early to mid game. But as of late, they've been playing that combination. When they go for the Chen, they're not really forcing the ganks as much early. It seems like they're slightly more patient, content to farm more early, and then push their advantage later on. Whereas when we first saw this team debut in the G League Season 2, they were dual roaming from level 1. They'd smoke before the creeps even spawn, and they wouldn't stop. This time, though, let's see what they do. They'll go for a clockwork now, so all 3 farmers secured, most likely just looking for that secondary support.
It's very important you brought that up, because if you just stick with one play style, you're not going to win TI3.
Yeah.
There are just too many good teams here. You have to adjust, and you have to adapt. And LGD Gaming International has been playing push for quite a bit, but if they want to do double roam, they can do double roam. And I'm just watching this draft, and it brings a smile to my face, because I feel like these two teams are like taking jabs at each other, because LG Gaming wants to push, right? Keeper of Light picked up to stop your push. And then LG says, no, we got the clockwork. We're going to hook in, kill you under your tower, and then kill your tower. So it's like counter to your counter to your counter. And where does it end? Does it end with the last pick?
Yeah, well, the game of one-ups will end soon because the picks are running out for both teams. One more ban for LGD INT, and then into MOUZ Sports' final pick. We'll have to find out what Black is going to play, and already 3 of his signature heroes have been removed. The Lone Druid and the Alchemist by MOUZ. Phantom Lancer's in the pool. It is an option whenever you see Keeper of the Light.
Come on, don't give us that.
If you're MOUZ Sports, though, split push, very strong in general. LGD INT want to push. One of the best ways to beat that back is push the other 2 lanes even faster. So maybe we'll see a Phantom Lancer. It's definitely an option for them here.
I mean, we just saw what Dignitas Universe did on split pushing, 101. And well, I kind of wish you're wrong sometimes. We're gonna be here for a while.
Hey, buddy. This is a big game. Loser goes home.
Yeah.
You pick what you gotta pick.
Well, LG Gaming International has dealt with this before. Takes me back to G League Final, I believe, as they were crashing up the high grounds against IG. It took them quite a bit of a while to do it, like 90 minutes or something like that. But did they actually do it?
They had that game, 30,000 goal lead. Finally, they kicked the front door.
Right. So LG Gaming, it will take a while, but hopefully they can bring on the cape. And it's going to be Vengeful Spirit as the last pickup.
Remember, they are on the dire side here, so Roshan is something they could go for rather early on. They've got 2 very tanky heroes, the Clockwork, the Dragon Knight. They've got the minus armor. When they get a few Chen creeps in the mid game, for MOUZ Sports, it's very important not to lose their towers early. If they lose their tier 1s and their tier 2s on the bottom and middle lanes, then Roshan is wide open for LGD INT.
Yeah, Misery also like to transition his Vengeful Spirit from a support to kind of like a semi-carrier, some sort of 3.5 as we agreed on it.
Yeah, normally the secondary support is called the 4 position, the offlaner the 3, but he gets a lot more farm than most.
Yeah, and he just gets quick levels. Swap is going to be a big spell because it doesn't matter if you have Phantom Lancer, if he's out of the base, swapped and dead. And that's exactly what LGD will be looking forward to do.
They're great at just punishing bad positioning in general, and that's really important, not just against the Phantom Lancer who wants the split push, but also against the Nature's Prophet and the Keeper of the Light. To me, those are the 2 players on MOUZ Sports, Cinderin, as well as the Nature's Prophet for Koikfa, that cannot get caught out too much this game. But with that being said, it's a best of 1, and it's now underway. Loser going home, winner advancing. We'll be playing Fnatic later tonight. Black going to be handling your Phantom Lancer, Cinderin on the Keeper of the Light, the captain for this squad. Paz, your support Nyx Assassin. Fata going to the mid lane as the puck has started with an early Null Talisman that puts Koikfa onto his signature hero. It's not even close, the Nature's Prophet. And as for LGD International, Misery on the Vengeful Spirit. Smoke already picked up, 1437, a secondary smoke. Can you spell aggression? Because that's what they want. Brax, or Brax for short on the Clockwork. That leaves G, your solo mid Dragon Knight rushing the bottom. Has been pulled a single tangos, and last but not least, Pycat, Swedish for Pycat, going to be on the safe lane.
Thank you for that translation.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
I speak Swedish.
All right. LG Gaming International, we talked about versatility, we talked about predictability, and of course they are going to be running a frontal push strat, but of course they are also going to be double jungling, it seems like, because when you run 2 Smoke of the Sea, you just want to get level 2 on these heroes, you want to pop out jungle and just kill stuff. So LG Gaming, so far, well, they have not seen anything just yet, but they will be dealing with the Nature's Prophet up top.
So they're running an off-lane Clockwork, and whenever we see this, you need to look at how he's going to lane, because Clockwork is an off-laner that can't really go jungle. He's not that good at roaming early on, and I'm looking at a tri-lane that's really going to be able to shut him down. So look for Brax to try and cog block the creeps, keep them away. Well, no, he's not going for it.
He's got no cogs because he took Rocket Flare to scout at level 1, so that's kind of the trade-off you have to make.
Never mind.
A lot of players like to cog in awkward areas to mess up the creep equilibrium, but he's just firing rockets now.
Yeah, you can basically trap the creeps over here behind the trees, which will draw the lane back. It makes the enemy wave push towards your tower, so it makes it easier to find experience, but he may not be able to get much done, so then it's up to the rest of the team. And when you go for 2 smokes early on a Venge and a Chen, you expect those two, Misery and 1437, will be the ones looking to put out the early aggression.
Right, and MOUZ Koifa, despite not really doing any deeming, seems like, on the top lane, he's actually slowing down the support's experience growth. They're trying to do, look at this, Magic Missile being forced out on a summon tree, and you gotta stop these kind of holding, and good job by Misery for stopping that. In fact, 2 heroes kind of tangled up over here. Misery says, I got 4 base armor, come at me.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job of zoning Koifa out of the lane. Generally, Prophet can zone out a lot of supports because he's got good range, a good attack animation, and pretty solid damage, but early on, the wave is going to end up pushing. It's a big push. Koifa is going to get quite a bit of experience off of this. Of course, LGD INT getting some decent trades here because they have the jungle Chen. The mid lane for them, we can take a quick look at that. G right now, only 3-1, 7-5 on Fata, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it too much in the draft, but Fata, known for quite a few mid heroes, this is definitely his strongest.
This is one of his best. Also a very cute play here. They just parked the walking courier over here and then upgraded because they're too afraid to use it when there's Koifa in the game. Koifa, master of courier killers. He will kill your couriers, and then next game's 4 couriers as well. He just kills stuff.
Yeah, someday if we have courier kill stats, he'll be on the leaderboard there, and especially when you're Nature's Prophet. Pos, stacking the jungle. So if you're MOUZ folks right now, I mean, they're the team where you know exactly what they want to do, and if all you want to do is sit back, protect your towers, farm your Phantom Lancer, which right now Black is getting free farm, and then stack these camps here, get additional gold and experience for your Keeper of the Light, and most importantly, your Nyx Assassin. Because in the mid game, Pos as well as Fata will be a 2-man combo, trying to set up kills every time they get a kill. LGD INT, that push that we talked about will be delayed. Any Roshan attempt they might want will be impossible. So to me, MOUZ Sports pretty much getting what they want for this laning stage.
Yeah, and if they don't set up those kills, you still want a highly level Keeper of Light to defend those push. So level on the supports, more important than ever in this game. MOUZ Sport, Pos on bot lane, zoning out Brax. Now, in the past, Black has gone deep. And when I say deep, I mean he goes Midas first. He goes Battle Fury on carry heroes that sometimes don't get Battle Fury. Are we expecting something like that? Or do you think he's going to go for some quick items that if the push comes, he could help out his team and defend? Like a Drums, perhaps?
Well, he's definitely not going to go Battle Fury, because that doesn't help your illusions at all.
No, I'm not saying this. Maybe your Alchemist, for example.
Yeah, the Midas is a possibility here. I mean, to me, though, it's good against Chen creeps. In theory, it's nice, but generally you just want to keep on using Midas as quickly as possible. It's really just up to MOUZ Sports how much they expect aggression from LGD INT. If I was them, I would expect a whole lot of aggression. And going Midas is one of those things that if you die a few times, you're not getting those next items. You offer your team absolutely nothing in the fights. I think to me they've got enough counter push that he doesn't need to go for a Midas. Probably we'll see this the Tranquil Boot straight into the Drums, but hey, if they don't put any pressure on, if there aren't any smoke ganks in 3 or 4 minutes, he might well.
Yeah, and so far there hasn't been any smoke gank. Misery's still only level 2. And that goes back to Koifa up to on top lane.
But 1437 is level 5 already, so he is getting all. A lot out of this jungle.
Did you just call him 1435?
1437.
Okay, level 5. No problem there. And I think after this, there's exactly that smoke up. So where do you go? Now, Koifa, if you look at him, he expects this coming, and he's going to try to hide. Mid lane's going to be a tough kill there. So I don't think the smoke's going to work, to be honest.
Well, you can't gank a hero that's at his tier 2, but what you can do is with a level 5 Chen is just push the tower. Yeah. They've got the early wave of terror. That means the creep wave will die faster. Pycat, rid of Basilius up. This tier 1's going to fall. I don't know if they'll be able to force a tier 2, but they can at least force a Keeper of the Light TP, which means then Brax will get some experience bottom lane perhaps. So even if they don't find any kills, this is totally fine for LGD INT. Scouting out the tree line, they won't find anyone. The tier 1's in jeopardy. MOUZ Sports may be going for a trade now. They'll go in on Brax bottom lane. He is level 2, not even attempting to impale his Pos. It's just not a very strong killing tri-lane. Good at zoning, not at killing.
Yep, Prophet's going to try to TP up top. Not going to really do too much to stop this push. Misery has turned level 3 under the siege, and he has scaled up Vengeful Aura.
And our first tower of the game goes to LGD INT. 1 tower down, a whole lot more to go.
Looks like we have Pos as well, Syndra jungling together. Again, it is important these support heroes get a ton of level. In fact, you can see that they're very low mana because of spamming the jungle as hard as possible.
You'll notice Brax shooting his rocket over the creep camps. I believe that does block the spawns if you time it just right. So the camp's not spawning for MOUZ as much as they'd like, and he is slowing those supports down. just like Koikva's Prophet was, they've taken a tier 1, but if you don't take the tier 2, what tends to happen is the enemy team, their offlaner actually gets a whole lot of experience in farm. So you can already see Koikva halfway to level 4. Meanwhile, Black trapped in some cogs bottom lane. Shouldn't go down here, at least not without help, but it's going to take a whole lot of harassment for his trouble.
Yeah, unfortunately for Brax, he doesn't have battery assault. If he had it, that probably would have been a kill. Yeah. Black, of course, updating on his how deep will Black go build. He has not gone deep. He has gone just for Tranquil Brutes.
Yeah, playing it a little bit safer here, and I think it's a wise choice because you know LGD INT is not going to relent on the aggression. Another smoke gang. Not even 6 minutes in. Looks like they'll wait for the rune and then head towards mid. This is the time in the game when wards that are placed on the 0-minute mark despawn. They do have a 6-minute duration, so it's a great time in general for teams to gank. LGD INT using the timings to their benefit. The rune's going to spawn top. It'll be a DD. They're not going to bother with it though. No, they'll back off. They'll give that to G. And now looking for the wraparound.
And if you look at Misery's item though, it's just a lovely foreshadowing of that 3.5 bench because you don't randomly get a Battle Giant Strength on a support. She's going to be upgrading to a Strength Treads and she's going to be looking to do some decent damage on the mid game.
Yeah, the smoke is going to wear off here for LGD INT, but they know there's no Radiant Ward and it's nighttime, so the vision of MOUZ is not that great. G has access to Dragon Tail, going to Big Daddy Dragon form, but Fata's able to orb away. I felt maybe at a moment there to grab him, but Fata, a bit of a Houdini in this situation. And Cinderin already prepared, spamming the Illuminates. He's level 4. Keeper of the Light is the key hero to stop these pushes. But the push keeps on coming.
Double damage Dragon Knight just doesn't really care. I mean, the waves is getting nuked down. Here comes G looking for some magic missile. Will hit Dragon Tail follow through. Here comes the call down. Doesn't even need it. There's a first blood. Illuminate will fly through, but LG Gaming claims yet another tower, and they will just roll as a group of 4 or 5, and they just will keep taking towers back in the back lane.
They'll go in on the bottom lane. They're going on to Brax. Already level 6 on 1437. MOUZ cannot force fights, which is a problem for them because if they're not finding kills with Nyx and Puck, that means LG INT is probably pushing them or going for Roche. There was a moment there where Fata could have phase shift, but just didn't get it off in time. And Magic Missile is one of the easier spells, I would say, but it's a very short duration for the phase shift at level 1.
It came along the tree lines, and I don't think he saw it, so...
Yeah, it's nighttime. That's, again, where the Fog of War really hurts you as well.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a... TP back to the tier 1 tower. Koikva's having trouble hitting that level 6, which is also a fairly important spell to kind of slow or defend this push. I'd like to see Brax given some sort of free farm room to get himself level 6 because I think that allows the LG China, or LGD International to kind of dive wherever they want to dive, and Brax not getting there yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's still level 5, though. Considering that they defensive tri-lane against him, this is going well. And again, it goes back to what we talked about, which is as soon as LGD INT puts pressure mid or top, if MOUZ choose to react, then that means Keeper of the Light's off the lane because he's the one who's going to go defend, and your Clockwork gets leveled. So Brax slowing down the enemy supports with the rocket flares, denying some spawns, and now doing a nice job of getting himself experience. It's not the fastest level 6 in the world, but for an offlaner, it's honestly pretty good.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I'm concerned for MOUZ Sports right now. They have a good split pushing lineup, but they're a long way from really coming online. The only hero with significant farm is this Phantom Lancer and the Puck right now. Puck, though, still no Blink Dagger. And it just feels to me like they're completely on the defensive in terms of emotions and momentum, not forcing any fights, just playing it safe. But if they lose this tier 1 bottom, then it gets very hard not to get picked off when LGD INT decide to gank you.
It's going to be somewhat difficult to push this tier 1, though. You have Illuminate to back you up. The Spirit Lance is going to at least hurt the heroes a little bit, but they're bypassing everything. Here comes LGD. They're looking for stun. They see the Venge. They think it's just a Venge, but here comes the Dragon Knight. There's a stun going right on Paz in huge trouble. Here comes Dream Coil and Illuminate. They're going to get 1 kill. G in huge trouble. G, Flame Breath is going to get 1 kill. They're going to go Fata. Fata's dead as well. G's still alive. It's not making a dive. He's low. He's getting there. Black in a little bit of trouble as well. Illuminate's going to come through, and it's going to be a double kill going either way. 14 does have huge trouble. Here comes the call down. Cinderin just get blown up.
5 heroes dead. It's a team wipe for LGD INT. It's no longer 1-0, Lumi. It's not just a first blood. It's LGD INT taking the fight to MOUZ. And MOUZ, you knew what they wanted to do. Split push, play defensively, while LGD INT said, you don't get to sit back. You don't get to dodge fights. We're coming right for you, buddy. You'd better be prepared. They went for early combat. They went for a lot of good early game items and builds. Nothing greedy from Black, but the nature of their lineup is such that if they get caught out, LGD just win that fight. And now, again, what we talked about in the draft. If this tower falls bottom, Roshan is wide open for LGD.
I think Roshan's already wide open. I really don't think MOUZ could even take a fight at this point here. We saw like Haldan just shredding them, but a very interesting note, if you look at the hero levels, look at our Chen. He's level 8. Yeah, he's the same level as a Phantom Lancer.
1437 was level 5 at 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and he's going for a kill on Cinderin. Cinderin, no boots, being herded off.
He's got the horse though. He's running quick, 315 base movement speed.
Yeah, that Centaur Conqueror won't fully conquer the bottom lane, but it will make a mark in that direction. The tier 1 bottom, indefensible. So Lumi, if you're MOUZ right now, you're losing your outer towers, you don't have your Blink Dagger for Fata. It seems to me all they can do is stall. Anything else that you can think of? Because I just don't see them fighting right now.
Yeah, you just stall. And having Keeper of Light, big deal. Having Puck, huge deal. And Puck, you know, he's stalling to that Blink Dagger. He's going to finish the Strength Threats first. Will Blink change anything? You could initiate on these guys, but I really don't think you can kill these guys. And if you have a very highly level champ like this, if he survives and get off his Hand of God, I just don't think MOUZ will have enough magical bursts to really bring them down.
Yeah, the only thing they're lacking to me is levels of Misery. He is only level 4, and Venge is a hero that you want to max the aura as well as Wave of Terror. It's not that important in some strategies, but when you're running a push lineup like they are, having that means that the enemy creeps die almost instantly. It also makes heroes easier to kill. Of course, Venge is a hero that can do a decent amount with being underlevel, but I'd like to see them secure some additional levels for Misery, but I do like what they're doing now. Aggressive wards from LGD INT. This is exactly what Brax wants. Aggressive wards means opportunities to find hooks.
Cinderin thinks better of it, backs off.
He's not even, to be honest, he's not even safe behind the tower. I mean, if they really want to dive him and go for a kill, they can.
Yeah, there's Clockwork, and that's why they have picked him up so early in the draft. Yeah, Misery is just, unfortunately, he's been dying first in these team fights, so he's never getting the levels and the experience that his team gets when they pick up the kills. So, a little bit unfortunate for Misery, but he's playing rather well so far. In fact, all of LGD is playing rather well. They're keeping up their levels, and more importantly, they're keeping up pressure. We saw what last time, Rattlesnake versus Dignitas, once you lay off the pressure, the enemy team just kind of go crazy with farm. Black is trying to do that in the mid lane. He's got himself a Yasha, which predominantly known as a farming item. Your illusions attack faster, they run to camps faster, and you could be a little bit more mobile yourself. And well, let's see if he farm his way back, because there's a line in Black we trust, because he is probably known as a Burning of the West. He farms so well.
He farms really well, but he's Phantom Lance, so this hero takes a lot to come online. He still probably needs that Diffusal Blade, a Vitality Booster at least, and MOUZ, they've been very worried about Roshan. Earlier we saw Black scouting it out with his own illusions. They've got good abilities to keep vision on Roche, and that's really important against LGD INT. Again, they can take Roche very quickly, but Mousesports smoked up, heading towards the top lane. They've got a level 6 on Paz, and whenever you see a Nyx level 6, you want to see a Sentry Ward in the lane if you're an LGD INT fan, and you do. It's there. Oh. They're ready for this, and they're wrapping around. They're going for a back step.
They see him Sentry Wards on down the ground, and Dreamcoil misses.
Oh no, this is bad for MOUZ. They need to back, and they need to back fast, because here comes Brax.
Oh my God.
He's caught too. They're in trouble. Dropping fast. Here comes the cavalry. The backup's there. Cinderin on the run. Black as well. Dragon Knight picking up Fata on the backside. 3 dead. No coil. No way out. And now LGD INT are going to start banging on the front door.
That Dreamcoil miss was so unfortunate because Pycat, he was 200 go away from a BKB recipe. If you get the kill on him, he's dead and he's BKB's delayed. Suddenly, on the opposite end, he gets his BKB. There's 5 guys in front of you. Oh, by the way, there's 3 Chen creeps as well, and this push will just mount. And I just don't know what Mousesports could defend this push with.
Yeah, it's like in Lord of the Rings, you know, where you walk up the hill and all of a sudden you see the legion of enemy armies on the other side. They just see this massive Chen army, all these heroes, and they're like, well, we're not in a good position. And LGD INT, they're going to keep on pushing. There's no Dream Coil here. Still no Blink on the Puck. Although Keeper of the Light can stall this push, he can't fully stop it forever by himself. They will deter the tier 2 pressure for now. But the key thing for me is that Black is just not quite getting the farm that you would like. And it's not, to me, a game where Phantom Lancer can just win 1v5. He needs some items on his teammates. How are they going to find them when this is the region of the map that they feel safe in? It's just not a whole lot.
Yeah, he's also died in that previous engagement, which definitely never helps for a carry player. He is going to be going for Diffusal Blade, as we see that there is a play of Alacrity on him. So he just wants an item that helps him fight right now. And you can see that Brax is just waiting. Can I go in here? Do I have backup? And well, he doesn't, so he's backing off. He's got a Vanguard as well, which is an item that we don't see too often on Clockwork, but when you're diving in against, you know, Prophet Treants, when you're diving against PL Illusions, it's a really, really good early game item to let you make those dives and stay alive.
Mouse Sports are just kind of sitting around mid, and you might be thinking, if you're newer to Dota, like, what are they doing? Why aren't they farming? Why aren't they getting gold and experience? It's because they can't safely. That's the problem, is you don't have your outer towers. You're easily brought down if you're a Keeper of the Light and Nyx Assassin. If any of these heroes get caught, they're just way too squishy to live. A lineup that's built around split push needs a certain level of farm and safety to be able to do it, and they don't have it. I think if you're Mouse Sports, you got to be diligent about Roche, and so far they've been pretty good. Trance now in the pit. Earlier there was like a good 2-minute window where they didn't scout it, but even if they're denying it, they're worrying about so many things, right? They're worrying about clockwork ganks, they're worried about the Roche attempt, and if LGD choose to do none of these things and just farm, they'll probably get more off the map.
Yeah, it's not just sending Tree in to check it, it's also, for example, Fata up in the top lane pushing it and then drawing a TP from Gyrocopter, because if he's there, his team is very unlikely.
Bottom lane, they've gone on black, he's gotten swapped in, this will be another death, he's caught and he's brought down. LGD INT, 3-man coiled up, but there's just no way to go in. Mouse Sports, they've got no follow-up. Once again, black caught out, and again, I have to credit LGD INT. Fantastic, aggressive wards setting up these kills.
Yeah, and Misery getting that swap, and now hopefully going to level 7 soon is going to be a big factor. She's picking up a chainmail, and I'm guessing once the Medallion Courage comes online.
This is your medallion. There's a hook in from Brax, and he's found Cinder in. The initiation comes out from G, follow up by Brax, and that's another kill. And this is why you like to see a Clockwork and a Shadowblade Dragon if you're up against Keeper of the Light, because he can't sit at the tower. If he does, you just jump him, and then he's dead.
Simultaneous pressure up on top lane orbs, as well as Glyph trying to stop this. But these Chen creeps, you just cannot stop them here. Pycat will get the power last hit. No, Chen says, I have way too much damage. I'll pick that one up.
The noose is tightening. Mouse Sports, they've got to find a way out of this one. Their second to last outer tower about to fall. And if there was ever a time to go Roche, it's right now. Top lane pushing in. Bottom lane pushing in. Mouse Sports virtually in the dark. And definitely on the back foot. And here we go. G heading towards the pit. Misery as well. Medallion flying out on the courier. It's complete. The mech's ready. It's probably been ready for a while, but 1437 just hasn't felt the need to deliver it. The courier's been working overtime, and now Roche wide open. If you're Mouse, you really can't contest this. You've got to go and split push.
As a support player, I have to say that I would love to play support for LGD because they're just so damn rich. Like, everybody has items. Nobody just have magic wand, boots, and wards. Look at Treads, and now Medallion on a Vengeful Spirit, and now they're going to be mounting a push. When you're pushing down 3-4 towers before the 20-minute mark, everybody gets rich. And now they're going to get even more gold on the map.
Yeah, the gold graph is not a pretty sight, but Mouse Sports are the kind of team where if LGD make mistakes going high ground, if they're not diligent in ganking black, this is one of those few lineups that can be down 10k plus gold and still find their way back in the game. LGD ahead. Can they seal the deal?
I mean, look at Black, though. He's got 700 HP. It's not like he's sending in, a Phantom Lance that has a Radiance and a heart on top.
Look, I'm not saying this is a hill. This is Mount Everest right now. But if, Mouse Sports, a pretty good turtling team. The Blink Dagger for the puck is getting closer and closer. LGD will have to see how aggressive they want to get. Knowing them, they probably want to go for this tier 2 mid and then put up some aggressive wards, buy a gem. Generally, just complete map dominance and control is the way to deal with this. Then Mouse can't really leave their base. So far, though, they're rotating towards bottom and Black on the way out.
Well, the split pushing now gets a little bit better as we see our Nature's Prophet player picks up a Shadow Blade. But one thing that we haven't really talked about too much is that the Rocket Flare, you could be anywhere, you could be pushing, and then you send it at the lane that they're pushing at, and you slow down the push. And that's kind of how LGD's been doing that with Brax firing Rocket wherever he sees fit.
Pretty good territorial control for LGD, and you can see that they're farming the enemy jungle. Mouse Sports, occasionally you'll see a Prophet in this situation just go farm the enemy neutral camps, but again, they're playing in the dark, so that's basically just rolling the dice, hoping that LGD isn't there, hoping that they're not smoking towards top, because if they are, you're probably getting caught. And here they go. They're going to start stealing the enemy big camp right near the tier 2 mid. They're getting close to these next items. I think it's only a matter of time before we see them look to breach the high ground. Butterfly not too far off from Pycat, could have it in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Misery working towards either an Aghanim Scepter or a BKB. Aghanim Scepter, one of the best items in the game for breaching the high ground and snowballing a fight. We'll have to see where he goes, and even Brax working towards an Ags of his own, so the clock is really ticking here.
Yeah, Black has actually gotten a decent amount of push on that tier 1 tower up top. Glyph gets drawn out, a couple of teleports get drawn out as well, and these are type of moves that they have to keep on pulling off. Make sure that they're defending your towers instead of you are defending yours, because they push a lot better than you. Black, though, creating a little bit of space for himself, farming on the bot lane now as well, so we might be getting there.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job of just hanging on. It's up to LGD to continue to force fights, and here we go. On to Koikpa, somehow pushed out of the comps, now self-sprouted, won't matter. Easy pickings for LGD. Now they'll group up, and that's your opening to go straight down mid, maybe force out a buyback, definitely force a tier 2. If you're black right now, you want to push bottom, and that's pretty much all you can do. Here comes G with the wraparound.
Well, let's see what our Illuminating could do, because...
Watch out. If you're Cinderin, be very cautious. There's a dragon in the woods.
Oh, they don't have Sentry War. Here we go, Dragon Form. They're going to go Fata. Fata, very important for the team. Nice blinding light. Stom's not going to miss as well. Nice defense here from his allies.
And that's the thing. If you do die for that, then the Illuminate's going to crush you. You take a lot of damage. LGD, this is time they could have been hitting the tower. Mousesport's going to be happy with that. Didn't lose anyone. Their Prophet will respawn. Black doing a nice job scouting out the potential backstab ganks with his illusion.
See a Sentry Ward.
And now the gem. Again, so crucial for map control. When you get a gem in a lower level pump game, you might think this is just to kill invisible heroes. Oh no, here's your hook on the Cindering, caught in the base. The tier 3 might be in jeopardy after this. Brax, however, though, coiled up, swapped out, the swap to freedom. The gem's on the deck. Who's going to pick it up? It goes to Pycat, and they will retreat out. They take a tier 2, but while this is happening, Black's farming. If you're Mousesports, it's not perfect, but I think it's pretty decent.
Well, G's looking for a stun. Is he going to get the real one? Yes, he will. I don't think really he will do enough damage. He has no detection. He's not going to get this kill, but just a little bit of token harass.
Black will TP out in the trees. Is Misery on the ball? No, can't scout him out. Oh, G actually almost got him.
Yeah, he didn't have mana. Good micro by Black, using his illusion and mana burning the real Dragon Knight as he was running away, so good play.
LGD, this is, they can't get too complacent. Mouse just have the kind
talk about that later. Pycat is...
Oh, he's waiting. He's got a gem as well. Koikpa can't use that Shadow Blade to get out. But the backups arrived. If he goes Sentry Ward, even dropped for him. Oh, they saw this rune pickup, Lumi. There is a ward towards the top rune. But Black still may be in trouble. Here comes your TP. Brax on the hunt. He's got a hook. Is the backup there? Fata waiting. There's your hook. They've caught Black. Here's the call down. He needs help. He needs some. He's not getting it yet. Now the BKB from Pycat driving them back. And that's the one here you've got to kill. If you're killing the PL, Mousesports will not get back in this game. Keep him down, and it should be LGDN's game to take.
So Brax started on the off lane with Rocket Flare, which does not help his off lane at all. And if you look at his score, he's 3-1-9. He's been involved in 12 of team's 14 kills as an off lane that has gotten practically zero support.
Yeah, remember, he got almost nothing out of the lanes until the support rotations were forced. So it's just this symbiotic relationship where the Chen and the Venge, early on they say, Brax, you're on your own, buddy. We'll help you out later. Then they go for the smoke ganks with 2 Chen creeps around that 4 to 5 minute mark. And then Brax gets some breathing room, and he's really taking advantage.
Yeah, he's going to be going for an Aghanim Scepter, and once you get that Scepter, you think he's hitting hooks now. Just wait, because he's going to give you like 3 or 4 hooks in the same team fight.
Yeah, this is like getting 6 rebounds in a basketball game, and you just keep on shooting the ball again. Sooner or later, one of them's going in. LGD now forming the enemy jungle, still doing a really nice job of starving their opponents, and I'm impressed by this. You can see the training in China, training against teams that are so good at turtling and hanging on and taking the game late.
Is Koifa going to make some plays?
Like LGD China, it's paying off here. G farming the enemy jungle.
Koifa, there's a courier. I'm just expecting him to kill some couriers.
Well, this is not worth a kill. If he dies, then LGD say, great, you just traded your life for a courier. Now we're pressuring your base, but for the time being, farming the enemy ancients.
They're pressuring the base regardless, because everybody's setting up shop outside. Yeah.
The sun will rise tomorrow, and LGD will be pressuring the base. That's pretty much a given. Will it work? I mean, I think they would like to get these next items, though. The Ag's up for him. G, maybe work towards something like that Assault Cuirass, pick up your plate mail soon. And aside from that, Gyrocopter, Helm of the Dominator, at least a Mask of Death. They might want to rate for Roche number 2. LGDN, they still got some time here to me, but you do want to seize the moment while you can. Strike while the iron's hot. They're up 14-3, 24 minutes in. They've taken all the outer towers. By the time Roche number 2 is dead, I expect we'll see a push on the base.
Yeah, the fact that Gyrocopter had the Aegis on him and they just let it time out and didn't push, I feel like LGD is only actually going to push if they have a pickoff. Maybe they are concerned that they're not strong enough to go up against high ground. And to be honest, you're going up against Illuminate, Dream Coil, and a whole bunch of other spells. It is somewhat intimidating.
It's a very good high ground lineup. And again, I feel they have been burnt in the past. At the G League Season 2 LAN Finals, you look at, I believe it was the game 4 against IG, where they led by so much. They kept on pushing this bottom lane. It was a big championship moment for them. Although they fell short, I like how they're just playing this safe. They're just starving their opponents, continuing to accrue the advantages. They'll go. They're just waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, but there's a fine line between finding the right moment and then oh shoot, this Phantom Lancer is getting a little bit out of control. They gotta find that moment. There's an Acceptor up on that Clockwork. They're gonna steal the enemy Ancient. Kind of a good denial goal attempt to the enemy team.
Yeah, just beautiful war of attrition. And while that's happening, you can see that Quakeva is trying to strike back. He stole the enemy Ancients, then he sent his Treants into the enemy, or into the Roshan, which might as well be the enemy Roshan, since MOUZ Sports aren't really in position to contest that. Just making sure that if they're doing Roshan, they can at least go for a trade. Here comes the push mid. Is it the death blow? They'll try and make it one, at least keeping the lane in. Roche coming up in a few minutes' time. LGD INT seems like they don't want to wait. Here we go.
Illuminate says you got no more creeps.
Okay, maybe they do want to wait.
Right, I mean,
it's hard, like you said, it's just such a good lineup to defend.
Yeah, and the creep wave is slowly pushing on the bot lane, for example, so you got to defend that. LGD G is going up top to kind of push that way. It's hard to actually go up the base, and if you look at the gold graph, like they're leading by 15,000 gold, leading by 14,000 experience. You should be easily pushing in, but Illuminate, lose your orb, Clockwork Cookies. I heard it somewhere.
Yeah, I heard one too.
He was just...
Okay, so he took...
Why walk when you can fly?
Yeah, he took an Invis and immediately hooked. Now, there's a fade time on the Invis, so he's still Invis, and he's on the hunt.
Well, I don't know if you want to hook into...
There's a gem on Fata. If he walks Braxton, he'll play safe for now. But you know he wants to go. You get an Eggs and a Vanguard on Clockwork. You don't want to sit back while your team farms. And now, maybe he'll go for Fata here. Doesn't have the backup, so for the time being, he's just scouting, but not looking to fight.
He's always looking to fight, just don't know where they are yet. I got a chance to talk to Brax earlier before the match happened. Seemed very, very confident, and the fact that they're kind of leading by a huge amount, 3-14, we're seeing 15,000 goal lead. They're in a very comfortable position, but they cannot be complacent. Meanwhile, on the other side, MOUZ Sport, kind of young as a team, if you call it that. Koifa, our youngest player in the international this year. There's a lot of pressure on him as well as Black to carry the team back, and let's see if they can deliver. Finds pause. He may be invis, but you're not running away. Nice by Carapace. And G, or Pycat, is going to just clean up. How does he find this?
The wards, right as he goes invis, finding him through the tree line. That was a pretty sensational dunk there by Brax. And now Roshan about to respawn. Problem is getting picked then really puts you in a sticky situation. Koikfa working on the enemy Ancients will wisely TP out. And they're plotting the path. They want to head towards the bottom lane. Black has been slowly farming during this time. His teammates not so much, but Black, the items continue to come out. Soon a Manta style if he wants it, or a Diffusal too. He's getting there, Lumi. It's just taking a lot longer than what a Phantom Lancer player would like.
It doesn't help that every time you push out 3 wave, you have to spend 135 gold to get back safely, and it really slows your growth.
He's not getting maximum value out of his time, unfortunately. He can.
Yeah, he cannot. And look at Koifa's like ninja farming because he just can't get into the lane. Not when Brax has your...
I mean, I think this is what they need because he's the one hero who can do it and get away with it. And even if he dies occasionally, he is buying Black time. So to me, this is exactly what he needs to do.
Well, here comes the Roshan, and you and I were both expecting a push out of this, after this, right? Because they gotta start kind of going to high ground. There is a slow, but yet still a ticking time bomb in the form of Black.
I mean, I do think they want to force this in the next 5 minutes or so during the stages, but I like how they're not being impatient and just going straight down mid. They'll defend their tier 1 top. You don't want to give away any free gold to a team like MOUZ, because once the tier 1 falls top, then Black has more room to push out the lane. There's less places for LGD to TP to. Maybe they have to go towards Boots of Travel, which isn't an item that helps you break high ground directly. So I like how they're playing it safe, but yeah, they should be looking to push. And indeed, if they find a kill here, which they're not going to, maybe they will. In comes Poss, it's a smoke from LGD.
That's so aggressive right now.
This is so bold, because if they die here, guys, this could be Rex.
I mean, it will be Rex if they die here. And then, to be honest, they're trying to gank an entire team of 5 with 3 people.
But they're buying Black time. I think a death or 2 is okay, especially if that hero's buyback, but they need to get something good out of it. And right now, slowly but surely,
drawing them TPs.
Again, very patient and meticulous play for MOUZ. They had a bad start. They started off cold, and they gave up a lot of kills, but 15-3 against a Phantom Lancer, Keeper of the Light, and a Nature's Prophet is not the end of the game.
2K go up on her Vengeful Spirit. I would only wonder what she's going for.
It could very well be the end of the game. I'm just saying it's not for sure. Because LGD in interviews past, shortly after they moved to China, began training with LGD China against DK, against IG, against Tong Fu, the top Chinese teams. teams. They said in China, in Chinese Dota, to break the high ground, you want 20k gold, an Aegis, a mech, and a pipe. They don't have a pipe, but they do have BKBs.
Checklist time. Yeah, they got everything else, right?
They have everything else.
All right.
And a medallion as well. And they've got a great way to initiate. And here we go. Straight onto the high ground. Pycat in the front lines. Misery parked beside him. Looking for an offensive swap. Brax just trying to fake him out here. Throwing out the hook. Not actually committing. Black is pushing a tier 1. Pump fake. Pump fake. Patience from Brax. Still waiting. LGD INT. Now the tier 3 falls. There's just nothing down. No response from MOUZ. They're going to sack a Rax and look to make it up with gold.
Anytime you're a strategy involving sack and Rax,
yeah,
not in good shape.
It's almost like it's like giving up a goal in soccer and saying, "Okay, we'll score 3 later."
Well,
we'll see.
PL, he kicks pretty hard. I guess that's a reference. We're just going down this path.
You don't watch American football, do you?
I thought we were talking about real football.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're talking about both footballs. You don't watch either of them. Are you kidding?
No, I do not. G.
Waiting. He's got a maelstrom here. If he gets anyone stunned, he could burst them.
Oh, Fata's got the gem, right, still? So he should be fine, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, look, he's at where his Rax stood and he's running. He's not fighting G. That just shows you in what a dominant position LGD stands right now. And here they go, up onto the high ground again. Pycat in front, still has the Aegis. There's plenty of time on this. LGD INT, there's no glyph for MOUZ. They're gonna have to force it soon. 2 lanes of Rax, they'll blink, they'll silence as well. They'll go on Pycat, Black's okay, not anymore. Swap back in, the coil unloaded, but it's just not doing a whole lot. LGD driving back for the time being. The PL illusion starting to go to work.
Defense.
The gem's down, they're holding. Pycat grabs the gem, looks to run. He's still got an Aegis here. Carapace stun, impaled, Aegis down. MOUZ defending, no buybacks yet.
Bend but not break, illuminate, harassing, forcing out the BKB, backing off. They may not fight them in the front of the base. This is like...
What else do they need? Aegis. I mean, the only thing I can look at, Lumi, is no pipe. Maybe that's the difference, but to be honest, it's just great defensive play for MOUZ.
Black's decision to go Diffusal Blade and just really good micro, focusing his illusions on the proper target has allowed them to make that successful defense. Those illusions were hitting like a truck, and now they've bought themselves at least 2 minutes of farming time where Black gets, well, a little bit creepy. Unfortunately, these are like 20 gold, 19 gold. They don't give you much, but beggars can't be choosers right now.
Yeah, remember, MOUZ did lose 1 lane of Rax before they even engaged. The next time that LGD comes to knock-in, if they give up a 2nd lane, I mean, that's the point where you do have to say, your lineup built around split push, and you're going to spend all your time just to keep the lanes from coming into your base. You need to be putting pressure on LGD, or they'll just go for the 3rd lane after securing the 2nd. So MOUZ Sports, by no means is the work done. But for now, they're hanging on.
It's not Mount Everest anymore, right?
No.
Or is it still...
I think it's still Mount Everest,
Okay.
Man. It's not getting taller. The mountain's not beyond Mount Everest.
Well, at least it's not like a Mount Everest with a blizzard and you have like a toothpick for your climbing gear.
It hasn't entered nightmare territory where the mountain just keeps on growing as you climb it and eventually you realize that it's never going to end. It's not Sisyphus status, yes, but Black trying to push out the middle lane. LGD, they're close. They can smell it. They can taste it. They win this game, they move on, and they play another best of 1 today. But MOUZ Sports, they're not going to give up. This dog still has some fight left in him.
I am a little bit concerned for LG in the sense that they had, the checklist. They had the mech, they had the Aegis, they had, BKBs on the heroes. They got 1 Rax for free, but when MOUZ Sports decided to defend, they repelled them. So if you're LG INT, do you wait for another Aegis? And of course, if you wait for another Aegis, PL will definitely be online by then.
I think it's just kind of silly not to, considering how close it is to coming up. I mean, it's only 5 minutes away. During that time, I guess it's not that close, but Black maybe works towards like half of his next item, maybe 1 item. LGD INT, though, they're not going to wait. They want to fight now, Lumi. They feel this is their strongest moment. Has the wave crested? Will it recede soon? Brax, he's in the front lines. Just look for the hook. They've got so many abilities to break the high ground. The hook, the swap, the Shadowblade Dragon Tail, it really should be possible for them. They've just got to find an opening. MOUZ Sports, they'll try to keep the invaders out, but now it lands. The tower to fall. No tower left in LGD INT, not even waiting. Hastered up on G. Brax just hitting huts for now.
Swap goes back, and Fata trying to help his ally. Paz in huge trouble. Paz just gets blown up. BKB Gyro says, say hello to my little gun. And there you go. Everybody's blowing Black Bites back, but Brax is done.
2 lanes of Brax. It's a horrible disaster for Mouse Sports now. The base being overwhelmed. Beautiful hooks from Brax. Misery. BKB's online. He can just charge in for stun if he pleases. G hooking to Brax, or Brax hooking to G. Yeah, some friendly fire here. Now Blake. A silence as well, but Misery pops the BKB. Puck heading to the right. LGD says, fine, you can run, but your base is in a lot of trouble. In they go. The tier 3 falling fast. In the front lines is Brax. Another hook. Another kill. Jams it in. Slam dunk from Brax, and now on to Black as well.
He's got no buyback because he just used it. Black's done. And that should be the third Rax.
This could be the end of Mouse Sports. Misery will fall. The Rax does stand. But remember, every time they're pushing, they're taking a lane. Impale on Brax. A chaotic team fight for sure. Pycat still standing strong. Has the Satanic. BKB cooling down. He'll unload. He's not getting stunned up. Not just yet. There's a Carapace. Finally, it's used. The Rax is alive, but they paid the price. They've lost 2 lanes. Paz. No. Pycat.
What?
How is he alive?
What?
How is he alive? Oh my goodness. What a disgusting turn of events. You know, in like 99% of games, that gyrocopter is dead. Not in this game.
When that 1% happens, you just scratch your head
Pycat is the 1%. He is too farmed. Look at him. Look at that net worth. He really is the 1%.
I mean, so question mark, how does Mouse make a comeback? Because they're not tapping out yet.
If they let LGD get to their high ground with what's coming next, which is probably Aegis Cheese, that's game. I mean, they have to fight outside of the base. Because even if they win the ensuing fight, they almost certainly lose that Rax. And they do not have the territory control or the damage to just go for throne. Sometimes you can trade like that, but there's still a tier 1 mid and tier 2s in all the lanes. So they got to fight outside the base.
I really think they cannot go for big items. You're not saving for a Sacrifice. You're not saving for...
Well, he's almost got the Sacrifice.
Okay, so Puck's almost there, so he's going to get it. But for the most part, you just spend your gold now, because buyback would not help you. And if you have 2,000 gold sitting in inventory when that fight breaks out, that won't help you either. You have to make sure they don't come in the base because there's enough damage.
Once again, Brax, he's always there. Wow. Again with the hooks. What a beast.
Where's the vision coming from? How do they just know?
The rocket comes in and then he's caught. And now, back towards the middle lane. Well, the tower for the time being. Still standing. They can't even take a tier 1 mid. This is not...
I mean, Black is in an interesting position. Is he trying to backdoor a tower? I think so.
I mean, it's got to be
Black, go.
It's got to be guerrilla warfare. They've got to get creative
Black.
here. I like this from Black. If he gets caught, though, it's not going to be too pretty.
At the very least, he's slowing and stopping down crew. Brax says, get them out of here.
Get out of my base. The top lane's pushing in. LGD, is it a smoke for the throne? No, it's a smoke for the bottom lane of Rax. They're on top of the Rax. Mouse aren't ready for this. Swap. Cinder and caught. Cinder and dead. 2 heroes on the sidelines. 23-8. And Mouse Sports really looking like they're on their last ounces of gasoline here.
Finds Black again. He's hooking. And he's just not stopping. Black, he's dead. No buyback this time here. And G with the BKB will find Pops. Pops is dead. And that will draw a GG out of Mouse Sports.
Mouse Sports just didn't have it in them in the end. They fell too far behind early. LGD knew exactly what was coming their way. During the analysis stage, there was some talk about the predictability of Mouse, and we saw it here, unfortunately for them. LGD knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they were ready every step of the way.